Hello, beautiful Capricorns. These are going to be messages for the next 2 or 3 months. And although they're coming out in the month of July, they don't seem to be date specific or month specific. You can't really box an energy in 30 days. So if this does not make sense to you at the beginning of July, maybe listen to it at the end of July and maybe perhaps even August and even perhaps the beginning of September. I want to say to you that I have exciting news. And as I want to say it, I'm going, what's the exciting news? And the exciting news for many of you is this. Your struggles are about to be over. Now, that is a big statement, and I don't make these kinds of statements because I don't know, but I'm being asked by Spirit to say this to you. So for those of you who have been struggling with an illness or a condition, with a situation that seems to have been out of your hands or out of your control, if you have been dealing with some sort of an addiction, gambling addiction, for example, or perhaps with someone that you are close to, particularly a family member that either has been unwell due to some severe condition, perhaps their own neglect around health or their well-being, or someone that is very close to you that you feel love towards, or you feel great care for, that has been struggling, and somehow you're involved. You could be a parent or someone very close to this person. And whatever, in this particular case, it may have caused you a lot of headaches. So I want to say the word breakthrough. Whatever this situation is for you or the person that you are connected to, there seems to be some significant breakthrough that will transpire. And this is going to, you guys have birthdays in February, Capricorn. No, you're in January. I'm seeing the month of February. So I'm asking, what is February? Because that's not your birthday. I feel this healing or this breakthrough is going to come about certainly between now and February. But I want to say for some of you, it's going to be around the month of February/March. And although this message is not covering that long of a time, I feel it's important for me to say this to you. Perhaps, if anything, is to lighten up your load in terms of your heart. You have been carrying this in your heart as a heaviness of some sort for quite some time, and I'm being asked to say that the tears you have shed have helped. Okay, how did it help? Well, the tears you have shed have been complemented by many prayers on your part. So if this is meant for you, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is not something that will this thing that you have been dealing with is not something that's going to happen. This is something that is already happening, transpiring in your life, has already happened quite some time ago, and you've been dealing with it for a while. For some of you, this goes back as long as 2 years. For some of you, this is around marital commitment, and for others of you, this is going to be around, I feel very much around your child. I'm also seeing the image of glasses clicking, which is a toast, and I want to say the words congratulations. So if you have been worried about someone, once again, there seems to be some pretty big resolution, something that's coming to an end. And I want to say the word healing. So whether it's healing of a condition, healing of a disease or an illness, healing of an emotional condition, healing of a situation, healing, you guys understand what healing is. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. So I want to say that to you. I also want to say here, Stay strong for the remainder of this time as this is going on, whatever that is for you. And remember, again, this is not me predicting anything happening. This is already transpiring in your life. So if this does not make sense to you, this particular message is not for you. What else? Okay, amethyst. I asked for a stone for you, and the crystal amethyst came up. And amethyst connects to third eye and crown chakra. It's a very healing stone. It's a very high vibration stone, very highly attuned to spirit. I mean, all stones are, but it's a very highly vibrational stone that connects to your third eye and crown chakra. So do your own research what amethyst means to you, and perhaps, and actually when I was looking, is that your guys' stone? Maybe it's not your stone, but I think it does connect to, actually I think it connects to a month of February, so that's interesting. What I'm looking at here, yeah, it connects to a month of February, so that's interesting. But however, it does say that it connects to Virgo, Sagittarius, and Capricorn as well, including Aquarius and Pisces. So it does seem to be your stone as well, as far as a sign. But do your own research as far as what the healing properties are, because I feel it will come in very handy, particularly if you have been dealing with some upsets for quite some time. What this is also showing me is that, okay, this is an interesting message. Any kind of residual from past life, or any kind of residual that you are carrying from your ancestors. I don't think I've ever given a message like this before, so this is very new for me. It's very exciting. You are in a position to be able to clear it and heal it for forever, so that you no longer have to carry it forward. And if you are of the age where you will have children, so that your children don't have to carry it forward. Whatever healing you are going through and you will be going through, that healing will not only affect you, but it will affect also people who are close to you, because we are all connected. So do get yourself an amethyst, get one of those tumbled stones if you don't already have one, and keep it somewhere where you can touch it close to your skin. I also feel that it will absorb a lot of the negativity which you have been holding on to, and we all hold on to negativity because, well, there's tons of negativity around us. But if you have been holding on to any sort of anger or resentment, or any sort of ill feelings towards another person or towards another situation that's either around you right now or from the past, any sort of heartaches, I feel this stone will help absorb some of those energies, and as a result of it being absorbed absorbing it from you, you will feel lighter, and you will feel much clearer. And there's a lot of stuff going, you have a lot of messages around unconditional love, so I'll get to that in just a moment. But the healing, I feel, is going to unleash or unlock your potential for unconditional love, because, well, I don't know about you, but I talk to a lot of people, including as well as myself. And when it comes to unconditional love, we humans unfortunately love conditionally. That's just the way it is. We like to think we love unconditionally, but we do have conditions. That's just, even with our kids. I think with our kids we have it's the most unconditional love, but even with that, there is conditions. It's just a human experience. However, when we release ourselves from our past and from our old belief systems, loving unconditionally becomes much more possible, which means you can love unconditionally even though something is not according to your ideals. And I think you guys get that. I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's how I want to leave it with this. All right. The first card that I have for you is Dragonfly. This is the alchemic symbol for air. So it connects to your mind. Dragonfly to me represents transformation, and we are all in transformative energies, meaning we are all transforming into higher vibrating humans, higher vibrating beings. And anything that is of lower vibration quality will come up to the surface because it must be clear out of our auric field. And even the words I'm saying right now, for those of you who've watched me for a while, this is not normally how I talk. So this is a new way of information coming through me, and I'm actually quite excited. So what this is saying here is that you are in a very transformative time when it comes to your thoughts. And as I'm saying this, I'm getting a bit of a headache, and it's almost like the headache is at the core of my skull. And it's going all the way through my head. So do not be surprised if you feel some heaviness in your head over the next little while. It's I'm asking, what is the heaviness about? It's you releasing the stagnating energy, any sort of attachments of lower vibrations from the past. And it may create headaches for you. And I'm actually feel like my head is really big right now. So as I'm saying this, don't be surprised if you begin to feel this. It seems to have this effect on people. So obviously, if it bothers you and if it's persisting, go see a doctor to make sure that everything is okay. But for the majority of you, any sort of headiness or headaches or of pressure, it is a sign of oppression coming out through the top of your crown in order to be released. Interestingly, amethyst is the stone of the crown chakra. So get yourself amethyst. I feel that would be very, very helpful. Any beliefs that separate you from another person. Can I have an example, please? Any beliefs of I can't, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. Any beliefs of that sort which diminishes your abilities to create your life is potentially on its way out. And it's not going to happen in July. It's going to happen over a period of months and probably for the rest of your life. But it seems like the next few months, particularly between now and the end of January, I want to go for the next 6 months or so, 6 to 8 months. The frequencies seem to be amplified. I haven't read about this. This is not something I know. This is something I'm being asked to say. So I don't know if it's true. I trust that it's true because I have to trust that what I do, what I say is true. Otherwise, I can't do my work. But for those of you who are healers or who are more in tune with the energies and timelines or anything like of that sort, if you know what this means or if you have more information, I would love to see that. So please do comment because I think that's quite exciting. So Dragonfly is all about transformation, and it's all about transforming your mind, transforming your thoughts, transforming your beliefs. I'm being asked to give you a suggestion. On a large piece of paper, make 2 columns. The first column is about your limitations. So list whatever limitations you think you have. And if you're like most people, you have a whole bunch of limitations because we all do. That's just a human experience. So list as many limitations as you can. And, you know, don't try to cram everything in an hour. This might take some time. Just when you think you've listed your limitation, you'll go in your business and you'll go, oh, geez, I forgot. This is how I limit myself as well. So any sort of beliefs you have about you, any beliefs you have other people, any beliefs you have about unconditional love, for example, any beliefs you have around money, any beliefs you have about abundance, any beliefs you have around limited health, any limiting beliefs that you can think of, the suggestion is here that you write them out on a piece of paper and do it on the left column, or at least I'm being shown on the left column. Once you write those things down, on the right side of your column, make another column which is on the right side, and for every limitation, write the opposite of what the limitation is. So for example, if you have a limitation that money is for other people or not for you, The limitation might be called scarcity around money. I want you to write on the other side abundance period, whether it's money, whether it's love, whether it's health, friendship, relationships, whatever it may be. And what you will find as you go through this exercise, that number one, you will begin to see how your limitations limit your experiences, and therefore whatever is lacking in your life right now is connected to how you limit yourself. But we often don't even consciously know how we limit ourselves because it's so programmed, we're on autopilot. But when you begin to be conscious of those limitations, not only will you begin to transform, at least in theory, what the limitation is on the other side of that. So what is the positive aspect of that limitation? Positive aspect? Is that how I want to say it? What is the opposite of that limitation? Thank you. But you will also have a tendency to begin to watch and observe yourself as you go through life, how you limit yourself. And the moment you have conscious awareness of your limitation is the moment where you can make a conscious choice to no longer limit yourself. So example is, let's say you are scared of public speaking, and that's a very common fear for people. As a matter of fact, majority of people are more fearful of public speaking than they are of dying. And that's been researched. So if you are afraid of public speaking, chances are if you're afraid of public speaking because you don't want to make yourself to be a fool. If you make yourself to be a fool, people will laugh at you. If people will laugh at you, it will make you feel crappy. If they laugh at you, you may feel rejected. You know how this goes. So if you have a fear, for example, around public speaking, make a conscious choice to speak up more often. That doesn't mean you have to go on a stage and sing, unless you're a singer and you want to do that, but make a conscious choice to speak up more often. Not speaking out of anger, that's too late. Not speaking out of hastiness, but speaking out, whether it's speaking out your truth, speaking out your desires, speaking out your ideas. If you're someone in a work situation where, let's say you're working, but you never really say anything because you don't think people are going to take you seriously. Make a conscious effort of voicing your opinions, and do it in a way that is not accusatory. Do it in a way that is kind, and in a way that fosters thinking for another person. But make a conscious effort to voice your ideas and your opinions. If you are someone who limits themselves by not saying how you feel, make a conscious effort to start voicing how you feel. Let's say someone upsets you and you have a tendency just to kind of shove it aside and not say anything, but then you kind of keep it inside. Make a conscious effort to say, hey, what you said really upset me. Do not accuse the person, because that often doesn't work out very well, but just express how you feel, and you will be surprised what might happen. It isn't about whether the person validates how you feel, but it is about that your feelings and emotions are valid, and therefore expressing them expressing them allows you to channel that information out of you, or another way of saying is digest it out of you so that you don't stuff it and you don't keep it. I could list a gazillion other examples, but I think you guys know the idea. So this is the first time I think I was being given an exercise for you to do, or for anyone to do, and I think that it's a great exercise. So if you feel inclined, do so, because I feel that not only will this open your eyes to your limitations and make you much more aware. By being more aware, there's a potential of you making a different choice. And we often do things because we don't think we have the choices, but our choices are based on our limitations. Our limitations are based on what we perceive. What we perceive is based on our belief system. So it always trickles down to what we believe. Okay, let me go through some of the cards very quickly, because I don't want to make these too long, because I have tons of videos that I want to make for you guys. The first card that pops up is Page of Cups. The general meaning of this card as a tarot card, it's lack of creativity. But when I saw this card, right away, I felt that this is a younger person, perhaps a child of yours, perhaps someone you take care of or someone you care for, that has been down on the dumps, whether it's because they have been struggling, or they have been not feeling well, or they have been sick, or they have maybe been depressed. Again, this is not a prediction. This is something that has already happened. Or generally there is someone in your life. If this is a page, it doesn't have to be a male, it can be a female, either or, but it doesn't have to be a younger person, but it feels like this person is of less maturity. So it could be an older person, but it may be less mature person. So there's a maturity level here that's being signified. And I feel maybe this person is the reason why you have been feeling the way you have, which is I explained at the very beginning. But I also feel this is the person around which the eureka moment will happen, or the healing will happen. So if this is a child of yours that has been struggling, there is a pretty good chance that there is going to be tremendous healing that this child will be going through, whether it's a situation, like I said, health concern, or could be an addiction. So if that's the message I get, it's a very specific message, so it's not going to be for all of you, obviously, but that is the message that I get. The next message I have for you is the Priestess. So as many of you may know, the Priestess is all about trusting her intuition. And I feel majority of you have a very strong intuition. And as your mind clears, as your insecurities clear, limitations clear, your intuition is going to become much, much stronger. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say your intuition is going to skyrocket. I'm being drawn to the moon here, okay? Moon to me represents feminine power. So whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. But it does represent to me feminine power. Moon is also to me associated with intuition. I want to say the word Cancer. Why do I want to say the word Cancer? Maybe whoever is having challenges in your life is of a sign of Cancer. I don't think it would be someone who has cancer, and if that's the case, there might be a miraculous healing that will happen. And if that's the case, hallelujah. So obviously that's not going to be for many of you. It might be for one or two. But your intuition here is going to feel very amplified. On the other hand, the message here is that whatever this is, whoever this person is that's in your life that's struggling, it is important that you listen to your intuition more so than your limited thoughts or limited beliefs. And I'm asking here for an example. What could that be? Well, I'm just going to leave it at this. Sometimes when we deal with someone, particularly someone we care for, we will get triggered because we're very invested. And whenever we're emotionally very invested, it's very difficult to be neutral. You're often in our heads. We're also with our hearts, in our emotions, and in our heads, and often things will get triggered. So what I will say here is, if there's any decisions to be made around this person in particular, it is very, very important for you to meditate on it and let your intuition guide you. Whatever the situation may be, your logic may be saying something else, and your intuition may be saying something else altogether. And when that happens, where those two things are odd, sometimes we feel stuck because we don't know what the right thing is. And although I always say listen to your logic because you have it for a reason, I will always say your intuition always will override your logic in terms of what the right thing to do is. So you guys, I'm going to leave it at this. Now, where this is leading is this. When you listen to your intuition, Empress comes in. So there is something beautiful at the end of this journey for you, whatever this journey is. And it seems to be around love, someone you love unconditionally, which I said earlier that often it doesn't happen. It's about unconditional love. This could also be about beliefs around unconditional love. Perhaps you do not believe unconditional love exists. Well, it does. It's hard work, but it does. And it takes a lot of courage to love unconditionally, because that means that ego has to be put aside. And We live in an environment where ego is our safety and security. It's not about not having an ego. Ego is extraordinarily important. We need it. It's about having a healthy ego. So, but anyway, the Empress here symbolizes a brand new birth, a brand new beginning. And as a matter of fact, you see that this Empress is holding a beautiful illuminating baby. So for some of you, you might have been struggling with the condition of not being able to get pregnant. And for some of you, this is going to signify that there is a pregnancy that will take place. And perhaps some of the steps that you will be taking will be using your intuition. Perhaps you will be looking at miraculous solutions by going to by doing things that are perhaps a little bit out of the ordinary. What comes here, for example, is hypnotherapy. For those of you who have been struggling with getting pregnant, hypnotherapy can be very helpful because it can get through the blocks of why perhaps subconsciously one might be blocking themselves from getting pregnant. And it could be for some of you that you just don't believe that you can be a good mother, or you have some challenges around feeling good enough, or you may have some challenges about loving yourself, and there's this preception, subconscious perception that maybe you won't be able to love your child, and that will block you. That can block you. So, but I want to focus on this. The healing here, green, a lot of healing is happening. Notice that she's wearing the hood on her head, which to me symbolizes healing not only of her intellect and her mind, but also in her body. So there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that many of you will receive what I'm being asked to say, miraculous healings over the next few months. And this is not a small thing for me to say. I'm actually a little bit nervous saying it because it's not a small thing. So there is opulence at the end of the road for you. No doubt some of you have been struggling with something. If it's not your condition, perhaps it's a condition of someone else's that you are very much connected to. And I want to go with last card very quickly. You have the Paradox card. Paradox card, this message signifies changes of perception that will help and release some of your limited beliefs. So the limited beliefs idea is coming over and over and over and over. And it makes sense to me, logically speaking, because we are now shifting into higher frequencies, and higher frequency brings forward lower frequencies or lower vibrations. All our limitations are lower vibrations. All our lacks, L-A-C-K, and our beliefs about not being good enough and the 1,000 others are all lower vibrations. So it is just a matter of time before these lower vibrations will come up to the surface and pop out of you. And while it's happening, it can feel a little bit turbulent. But I think I'm going to leave it at this. Is there anything I want to say to Capricorns? Is there anything that I really need them to know? Your emotional base is very important in terms of how you create your life. What does this mean? If you are emotionally all over the place, your life will feel chaotic. Not only that, when you are dealing with a challenge, it can feel very, very difficult. When your emotional base is solid and strong, when your inner foundation is strong, when you have challenges, they still don't feel great, but you're able to maneuver through them. Let's call it in a better way. If you are emotionally strong and solid, you can help someone who is struggling, who's around you, in a much better way, because you can hold the fort for them, so to speak. So your emotional stability is key here, and your emotional stability comes from your beliefs. So you can see how beliefs are critically important for us to address. I'm going to leave it at that because it's gone on for a little bit too long. I hope this is going to make sense to you. If it's not making sense right away, do listen to it in a few weeks. And if you would like to comment about some of the things that I said, I would love to listen, or I would love to read them. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I wish you best of luck. Please take care of yourself. Know that good things are coming. Good things come to those who wait. And never forget, never ever forget this. I'm being asked to say, never forget that you are already more than enough. And with that, I'm going to close this and see you soon. Of course, for private session, it's down the bottom. You guys know how to find me. Take care of yourself. Good luck.